imagine the disappointment from a child when he realizes those fat white sacks stacked up on farms are not, in fact, giant marshmallows. As he sinks his teeth into what I'd imagine is a combination of plastic and hay, there's that sudden realization that his imagination fucked him over. It betrayed him. It laid down the line of what not to cross and the consequences if you cross it. Restrained like somebody plunged knives into his eye sockets and replaced his childish vision with electronic bionics. That was the first day he understood that centipedes will never be allowed to be goody two-shoes. That on-display toilets will never flush. There was that one day he tried to ask his mother the where, but he was too scared to talk, so he walked away. Down the aisle, he saw the most pristine toilet you ever saw, made for rich people with a golden handle. Clean up on aisle 3. There's a mixture of shit and pee, and it's in the toilet I was about to buy. Fuck me. I really wanted that toilet. I traded Toys R Us for Home Depot. I'm wearing bionic eyes, but all I see is this mixture of shit and pee. This isn't how I thought I imagined my life would end up being. And that kid's listening on to swearing complaints and self-doubt about the fairness of life. I'm sorry, kid, but one day you're gonna realize that when they plunged knives into your eye sockets, they also stole the good times you kept in your pockets. You're gonna need space in those when it comes time for the guidelines. 5,000 pages of 10 kinds of not awesome, filled with paradoxes, simple rules so widely accepted we should almost make them legal, filled with statements that would make us fools out of everyday people. Page 1. Be yourself. Page 2, don't be different. Page 3, practice makes perfect. Page 4, nobody's perfect. Guidelines. If I had a nickel for every time somebody told me to be myself, I'd have enough money to prove that it was impossible to be anything but. We restrain our creativity. We put chains on our imagination, holding back, squeezing shapeless thoughts into shapes with edges like cheese graters, ideas that cater to the masses because, as it turns out, the things that tend to fit in are so square. But if you do not risk people wondering if you're all there, when I was a kid, I was questionably autistic, considered a statistic, a mystic, complex but simplistic, gifted boy with a tendency to be stuck in his own world. Too ignorant to notice that staying inside for lunch alone to write short stories about animals made people look at you like you were one. I remember when teachers asked me why I sang to the sun just to have it come out, to break from the clouds while I was on cloud 9, and when it peeked through, I thought it was a sign. I was a merry, ignorant, happy kid. But I always wondered why I got teased, looked at, and ignored for the things that I did. Guidelines. Throw them away. We may taste plastic and hay from time to time, but ideas, those are eternal. Those are what stay. Whether you're called superstar or too bizarre or loser or faggot, these names, their opinions, these guidelines don't define who you are. When you want to be yourself, just imagine. You don't have to try too hard. Thanks.